When I was a child, I used to believe in fairies at the bottom of my garden. I believed that the world was enchanted. I believed in gnomes, in imps, in magical, mystical creatures. And that imagination is key when it comes to manifesting. A lot of us lose our childlike wonder. We lose our imagination. We get caught in the rut of daily adult life, structures, rigid structures that then influence our mind. I realized yesterday that I have fallen into a predictive programming, so to speak, that I no longer think I'm going to be surprised. If I am going to be surprised, I think it's going to be a negative surprise, never a pleasant surprise. And so today, as I'm back in nature, feeling like my childlike self, I would like to encourage you to remember to dream, to remember to imagine, to tap into the imagination, which, like I started with this video, is key to manifestation. And this is why. When it comes to manifestation, there are so many different definitions. There are so many teachers and gurus who will give you their ideology when it comes to manifestation. This is my belief, something that has worked for me, that is influenced by my ancestral spirits, that continuously guided me. Before I started this video, I asked to be protected from any spirit, any ancestor that wanted to dilute this message. And I open myself up to be a channel, to share a positive message that can help you. I ask for guidance constantly because I do believe that my purpose is to help others. I have successfully helped many women to reimagine their lives, to reimagine what is possible. And that is the art of manifestation for me. It is creating the impossible. It may take longer for you, it may be more difficult for you, but I believe everybody has magic. Everybody can tap into this natural wonder, this natural beauty, this natural power. This tree that I'm sitting behind, that has a spirit in. This ground that I'm on, that has an energy, that has a current, that has a pulse, that reflects the pulse of my heart, the pulse of the blood running through my veins, that is giving me oxygen, that is giving me life. And that's what manifestation is about, bringing dreams alive. I've made a lot of dreams come into fruition based on just imagining what I wanted. I remember when I had psychosis and I came out of hospital, this was the second time I'd been sectioned. I returned to my dad's house and I honestly had no hope left for life. I'll be honest, like I wanted to unalive myself because I knew that I can't keep living this way. I've shared in my free ebook, 1234 Open This Door, the reasons why I fell into psychosis. If you haven't read it, it was basically because I was unhappy. So I smoked a lot of cannabis that just triggered psychosis in me. So when I came out of hospital, those feelings of desperation, those feelings of escapism didn't go away. I wanted a brand new life and I didn't know how to create a new life. And my dad, bless him, he gave me a book, a Deepak Chopra, and I was reading it every single day in the bath, and I just had nothing to lose. So I just decided, okay, I want to manifest moving to London. I want to manifest a job that pays me well enough to live in London, because I'm not originally from London. I was born in a city called Nottingham, where Robin Hood is from. And I always knew from a young age that I wanted to come to London. I wanted to move to London if I was going to stay in the UK. This is the city that has a pulse and an energy and a tempo that suits me the best. It's very fast paced. It's very powerful. London has a lot of energy, chakras. There's a lot of power here. I knew I had to be here, but I was surrounded by family members saying it's too expensive to move. It's how are you going to move? Also, how are you going to get a job when you just come out of hospital and it's on your sick leave that you've missed so much work? Who's going to employ you? I had to forget about all of that. I literally had to tap into just raw, dream-like imagination. And so I just envisioned moving to London, finding a job that would pay me enough to move. And it happened. It happened. And I think this is why I'm sharing this story, because there's somebody watching who wants to make a similar move. And who's probably hearing the same message that I was. How are we going to do that? In this economy, it's impossible. Listen, I'm telling you, that childlike imagination where, if you remember as a child, it felt so real. Like when I believed in fairies, I literally saw fairies. Like I used to write letters to them. I used to dream about them. Like I would feel like I could hear them. And when you start to listen to other interpretations of manifestation, you'll come across concepts such as, you have to really immerse yourself into the feeling. It's not just about thinking, it's about feeling as if your manifestation has already arrived. And as children, we do that because we just immerse ourselves and tap into the dreamlike state. And that's what we need to do as adults. We've lost that. But it's very easy to find our imagination. Reading is so important. Reading fiction, reading stories that exercise the part of the brain that is necessary for manifestation, the storytelling. And so I'd like to share a story with you now, a story for all of us, that we can create the life that we want, that we already have created the life that we want. The life that we want is simply waiting for us to step into, for us to open the door. 1, 2, 3, 4, open this door. New knowledge, power, and creative freedom is available for all of us. That's the name of my ebook, by the way. I'll link it in the video description. It's free to download, but I used that analogy of a door because for me, life is about portals, access to other dimensions, and in order to manifest, you simply have to walk into that dimension. And as I'm speaking, like I feel in my stomach, which is where the sacral chakra is, which is our creative abilities, especially if you're born as a woman. Think about, you carry a child in your stomach. There's so much creative energy, and I'm feeling emotions and feelings in that part of my area because creating a new life is available. All we have to do is tap back into ourselves. All we have to do is tap back in. Remember who we were as children. What dreams did you have? And that's another way to get back to imagining. What were your hobbies as a child? Did you like to draw? Did you like to act? Did you like to play sport? Try and create that in your adult life. Spend time away from scrolling, away from the screen, using your hands, reading. And I emphasize reading just because I used to be a librarian. And this brings me on to the second biggest manifestation that I created in my life. So a little bit of a backstory. So I moved to London. This was in 2020, literally about a week before our first lockdown in the UK. I moved to London. and I was an assistant librarian for university, and it served me, that job, because it allowed me to move to London. I then moved to another librarian role that paid me better, and that's when the problem started. That's when that manifestation had to change, because I don't believe that you just manifest once. Like, life is about constantly manifesting, constantly creating, and constantly receiving. And so in my second job, it was hell. And I've spoken about this in my other videos. So, you know, if you're interested in learning about why libraries are very problematic, just waiting for that noise to go. I've made 2 videos. I've made a video sharing my lived experience as a librarian, how libraries are toxic. And then my video that I posted 2 weeks ago, I actually highlighted how libraries played a key role in demonizing indigenous knowledge, which, if you're into manifestation and spirituality, all of this comes from indigenous knowledge. And what I mean by indigenous knowledge, the knowledge of my ancestors, the knowledge of people born in the global south, you know, born in Asia and Africa, Latin America. I don't know about Europeans, what pagan rituals they were practicing, but everything is really connected back to source. And the first humans came from Africa, and you can Google that if you don't believe me. And I'll repeat, the first Africans came from Africa, which is why I'm reading The Healing Wisdom of Africa. Digressing a little bit, but yeah, going back to my second manifestation, I realized I needed a life of freedom, of creative freedom, that unfortunately I couldn't find in the 9-to-5 structure. And a lot of people are the same. Maybe you're watching this knowing that you're not meant to work a 9-to-5. And again, maybe you're hearing, oh, but in this economy, how are you going to survive? And actually, I've made another video. Like, if you're watching this and so far you're enjoying what I'm talking about, I've made so many related videos about this. The video that's coming to mind is, the economy is so bad, you may as well chase your dreams. And I feel the need to say that, not to just plug my videos, but just to remind people that the economy is so bad, you may as well follow your dreams. Like, we're living in so much uncertainty, but actually the uncertainty breeds this ripeness. It breeds this chaos that actually is very powerful if you're able to alchemize it, like creating and using this chaos to let your old identity die, which is also what manifestation is about. You have to create a new identity in order to walk through that door, whether it's you change your thoughts, you change your beliefs, you surrender and actually work with life rather than pushing against life. You know, thinking about how I was sharing with you that I knew I had to leave my job, but took me a long time to admit it and to actually do it, because I was fighting against my feelings, because I was just full of the messages like, you have to work. That's just how life is, and how are you going to survive? You can't fight your calling. You can't fight your destiny. It's going to keep knocking louder and louder, and things are going to happen where it will get to a point where you can't ignore the call any longer. And there's a bee just buzzing past me, and I feel like that's a message from the ancestors, because bees are connected to the hive mind, the colony, and we're talking about the system and the thinking. You know, bees they're not independent, they work with others. But in order to manifest your life, a lot of the time you have to listen to yourself and block out the noise, get out of the hive mind thinking, start the journey. of opening the door, which can be very lonely. You can be misinterpreted, misperceived. A lot of people are not going to understand your decision, and they're not going to applaud your decision, because when you make the decision to create your own path, to say, I'm not following what everybody else is doing, because they're lost. They're just listening to what other people are saying, the government, their parents, leaders. They're not listening to what is the soul saying. What am I saying? What are you saying? And when you dare to break away, a lot of people will feel jealous that they don't have the guts and the courage to do the same. So they all just project onto you. And I feel like Spirit is telling me to remind somebody who's watching this that you're experiencing projections. That if you're telling people you want to follow your dream and they're saying you can't do it or it's impossible, that's just a projection. They don't think you can do it because they don't think they can do it. They don't think you can do it because they don't think they can do it. And the leaves are moving. And I always think that's a message as well. I don't know if you've watched the film Pocahontas, the Disney film. It was my favorite film as a child because I have Indigenous American in me. And unfortunately, because of how my knowledge has been erased, the closest connection that I could find to my lost ancestry was watching Pocahontas. Again, I've highlighted why libraries played a key role in this breakdown of ancestral knowledge. If you're interested, subscribe to this channel so that videos pop up, videos that I make pop up and you don't miss them. But you know, in Pocahontas there was a tree called Grandmother Willow, and the breeze would be messages, spirit messages. So I know that I'm being guided and encouraged to share this message. I feel like I'm coming towards the end. Spirit, is there anything else you would like me to communicate? To just breathe. That's also a way to tap into your imagination. That when you're so busy, when you're scrolling, the notifications are pinging, there's so much stimulus, there's so much stimulation, you can't hear yourself think, you can't imagine, you can't tap in. You can't listen to the sound. Did you hear that sound and think, what is that? And to allow your brain to imagine, that's the sound of somebody knocking at the door. That's the sound of somebody approaching, good news approaching. It doesn't have to make sense. And again, as adults, and adults who are in the West, let's say, we emphasize logic, we emphasize rationality. It has to make sense. If it doesn't make sense, then it's like it's not going to work. No, manifestation is the opposite of that a lot of the time. It's not meant to make sense. You're meant to be delusional because you're meant to be tapping into this wild, chaotic power of the universe and shape it into your destiny. You're meant to. You're meant to tap into silence as well, to drown out the noise of the world. I'm just going to flip my camera just to show you the beauty of this world. that everything you're now seeing, these trees, these leaves, carries an energy, carries a spirit, carries an energy that you can tap into. So also, last thing that I would like to share is be in nature. As a child, you played in parks. As a child, you ran around. You were outside in the garden. You think you're too busy to do those activities, or maybe you're just too tired and drained from a job. This is again why you need to dare. You need to dare. You need to be daring. You just need to create a dream that is daring. I don't know why I keep saying the word dare, and it's reminding me of school. Like, as you can see, like, there's just been this theme of childhood and school. So I'm thinking about this program that I did as a child at school called Dare, and it was basically saying say no to drugs, which is making me think about how I started this video sharing about, you know, I used to smoke a lot of cannabis because I wanted to escape. Everything is a full circle. Everything is coming to an end. Your old life is coming to an end. If you decide it can come to an end. And there's somebody walking past me with a skateboard. Again, like, play. Just play. So I'm gonna end the video here. This is my second collective message where I haven't had an agenda. I've just sat down and asked Spirit to just use me, share a message. I have been really reconnecting with my ancestors thanks to reading this book, The Healing Wisdom of Africa, which is written by Malidoma Patrice Some, who's from Ghana. He's from the Dagara community in Ghana. And just by reading this book, I've been connecting to my spirits. I also have Yoruba in me. My granddad is Yoruba. So the indigenous American and the Yoruba, it really has created this powerful channel within me. A channel that I've been using to help women who, maybe you're one of them, you're somebody who just needs to hear a positive, empowering message that shakes your foundation, shakes the foundation of what you think is possible for yourself and for this world. And if you're interested in learning more about my work, you can read my bio, my services, see if you're a great fit. You can book a free 30-minute call, because I think these videos are confirming that this is what I'm meant to be doing. This is why I quit my job and set up Die for Art by Naomi. I'm here to help people in a way that couldn't be done in an institution. The institution was too small to hold my spirit. I'm here to help you. I'm here to help you with this YouTube video and with future YouTube videos, so make sure you subscribe. But if you want deeper one-to-one work, you want to sit down and share your story and have me listen and intuitively feel and help you to create something new, something that is for you and for others and for the world, something that is decolonial and is going to help bring freedom for this world, because it starts with you. It's brought freedom for you. Then get in touch with me. www.dieforartbynaomi.com. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. My name is Naomi, and I'm here to help and support you through all my work. Thank you.